we throw obscure trivia at the youngest pilots we've had on our show. Will they know it? Let's find out on PropQuiz. Good evening and welcome to PropQuiz. I'm your host, Ethan Berg, and for the first time in our show, I'm not the youngest person here, which I guess means they'll all be far more likely to cringe at my horribly cheesy jokes. But just because they're young, that doesn't mean they're inexperienced. Our first contestant tonight has admitted he has a problem with addiction. An addiction to aviation. He set course for his ATP and he shares his passion through his YouTube channel, Hug Aviation, Benjamin Hug. Our next contestant is a private pilot of both gliders and powered planes. He's been flying since he was 10 years old and soloed at Civil Air Patrol's Johnson Flight Academy, Mr. Nicholas Tupper. And our third contestant is working towards becoming an international cargo pilot. He gets his love for flying from his father, who's a captain for a prominent U.S. airline. We have Ryan Depascalis. Welcome to PropQuiz, guys. You know how the game works. We're going to start off with 15 questions in round one. So let's get started. Here's your first question tonight. Which air parcel is less dense, dry air or moist air? Benjamin.
Dry air.
It is not dry air, which basically makes us a giveaway. Nick.
Moist air.
Moist air, you stole it. And you're first on the board tonight with 5 points. Nick Tupper, or FOD as we're supposed to call you, FOD, or foreign object debris. Where did you get that call sign?
Oshkosh, 2008. I was very small, made lots and lots and lots of foreign debris at Orion Air after I spread my toy soldiers all over the back of a Cessna Citation Mustang.
Oh, no. A lot of good aviation stories come out of Oshkosh. I don't know how much that qualifies, but FOD Tupper, welcome. Here's your next question. PAPI lights help you visualize the glide path to the touchdown zone. What does the acronym PAPI stand for? Benjamin.
Precision Approach Path Indicators.
Precision Approach Path Indicator is the correct answer. You got that one right with 10 points because you were the first person to answer and you got it correctly. So you are now ahead of Nick by 5 points. Benjamin, welcome to PropQuiz. Now, you're originally from Canada and you moved down here and now you're flying down in Florida. Is that right?
That's correct. Yep, my home base is Opelika, Florida. It's a very nice, big airport. Yeah.
And you started just with simulators at home, and then decided you wanted to transition into the real thing, right?
That's right. I got hooked into aviation through flight simulators, X-Plane 9, and I've been simming since I was 8 years old.
My mom always warned me video games could be addictive, and I guess you're proving her point here. Well, Benjamin, here's your next question tonight. The AVG, the American Volunteer Group, flew for the Chinese at the beginning of World War II. What were they better known as? Nick.
The Flying Tigers.
They are the Flying Tigers. Absolutely correct. And there you go. You are now ahead of Benjamin again. You guys are leapfrogging each other here. And I have now used up the one time I'm allowed to use the word absolutely in tonight's game. I'm probably going to break that rule. What Chicago airport, made famous by Microsoft Flight Simulator, speaking of Sims, was illegally bulldozed by the city's mayor in 2003? Nick again.
Chicago MiGs.
Miggs or Megs Field, absolutely. There I go again. I've already done it again. KCGX. I don't know why I do that. Evidently, it is my favorite word. If a standard rate turn is maintained, how long will it take to turn 180 degrees? Benjamin.
1 minute.
1 minute. You didn't fall for the trick. We were taking bets about who would be the first person to fall for that one, but it's 1 minute. Because that is only a half a turn. Standard rate turn, 360 degrees all the way around. We're only doing half of that. So instead of 2 minutes, it is 1. This odd-looking prototype would evolve into a very popular light twin. What would the new airplane be called? Benjamin again.
The Cessna 310?
No. Anybody else? What would the new plane be called? Ryan.
Is it the Bonanza?
No. Dancing all around it here. Nick, you want to buzz in and give it a shot?
Oh, I can't remember. I know, but I can't remember. I can't remember.
It was the Piper PA-23 or the Piper Apache. Piper Apache was what we were looking for there. Nobody getting this one right. So if we take a look at our scoreboard, Nick is in the lead with 25 points. Benjamin's got 20. Ryan's not on the board yet, but Ryan, you still got plenty of time. Which V speed is the maximum structural cruising speed? Benjamin.
VNE?
No. Ryan.
VNO.
It is VNO, or NO for normal operations. That's the top of the green arc. Benjamin, when you said VNE, that's never exceed speed. That's where you'll probably start losing parts on the airplane, which you never want to do. But VNO, normal operations. Ryan, you are now on the board with 5 points. Welcome to Prop Quiz. You, sir, are out in San Antonio. Your dad is an airline pilot, and is that what got you into flying?
Definitely. He definitely had an influence on me. He's always just telling me how much he enjoys flying, and we're pretty similar, so I'll just give it a shot.
Okay, before the show, we were talking about the bunch of different airplanes you have flown. What's your favorite plane you've flown so far?
Right now, just a Cessna 172.
172?
I fly specifically an M model.
Alrighty, and speaking of trainers, you just passed your check ride last week, is that right?
Yes, sir. I just took my first passengers up last couple days ago, actually.
Congratulations. Well, while you're succeeding in that, I am failing as a proofreader as I'm already noticing a typo in our next question. What is a stall that occurs at higher than 1G referred to as? Benjamin.
An accelerated stall.
It is an accelerated stall. Or as my teleprompter says, an accelerated stall. Benjamin, you're now up to 30 points. You're leapfrogging it here with Nick. He's still at 25. Ryan is on the board with 5 points. Here's our next question. In 1967, John McCain was shot down over Hanoi flying this type of attack fighter. What is it? Nick.
It's an A4.
A4. Do you happen to know the name of it? You got the points, but do you happen to know what it's known as?
I can't remember.
Oh, well, it shares a nickname with what Ryan's been flying, a Skyhawk, A4 Skyhawk. But absolutely, A4, there I said it again. I already know my boss is going to be like, stop saying that. You are in Alaska, departing a runway of rough, packed gravel with no obstructions. What type of takeoff should you make? Nick.
Soft field.
Soft field takeoff. That is correct. And a lot of people would be tripped up by that because, gravel, that's not really soft. It's packed, so it's still pretty firm. But you want to make sure you get off the ground quickly so that you don't get any damage to your landing gear. Basically, anytime it isn't a normally improved runway, meaning properly paved and things like that, you want to treat it like it's a soft field. The T-34 was a popular military trainer that entered service in 1953. What company designed it? FOD.
Beechcraft.
At first, I didn't hear beach. I heard something else in my ear. Heard a different B word there, but Beechcraft with 2 E's, that is what we're looking for. What is the atmospheric boundary that separates the troposphere from the stratosphere? FOD again.
Would that be the tropopause?
It is the tropopause. I would not have gotten that right if I weren't cheating and looking on a screen. I would definitely not have gotten that. But Nick, you've more than doubled Benjamin's points so far. You're all the way up to 65. Benjamin is with 30. Ryan is still at 5. You guys have plenty of time, but you're going to have to catch up. We've got 3 more questions in this round and another 15 in round 2. Manfred von Richthofen was the highest scoring ace in World War I. What was he popularly known as? FOD.
The Red Baron.
It is a Red Baron. You're now up to 75 points. You may hear your 100-point jingle before we even go into the break for round 2. You're killing it tonight. In 2005, the film 1-6 Right was released. It contains stunning footage primarily shot at which airport? Benjamin.
Is that John Wayne?
No. Not John Wayne. Anybody else? Film 1-6 Right. What airport was it? Gonna give you another 5 seconds. Alrighty, it is Van Nuys, California, or Kilo Victor November Yankee. Van Nuys is where 1-6 Right was filmed. We've got the last question in round 1 now. Let's take a look at it. This picture was taken over the top of the Gold Seal hangar after a thunderstorm. What type of clouds are they? Nick.
If it's after a thunderstorm, I'm thinking, and they seem quite puffy, so I'm thinking cumulus.
No. Benjamin.
Not sure, but nimbostratus.
No. Ryan, you want to buzz in and try it?
We'll say I have no idea. Stratus clouds.
Not stratus. We were looking for mammatus. I think I'm pronouncing that mammatus, for those types of clouds. Well, guys, that's the end of round 1 with Nick in the lead at 75 points. When we come back, we'll see if he keeps that lead in round 2. Be right back.
Hi, I'm Russ Still, and I'm your Chief Flight Instructor here at Gold Seal. Gold Seal is a comprehensive ground school covering everything from your FAA knowledge test to your final check ride. It's quite different from any other private pilot program. We mix exciting video with interactive segments and 3D animations. These may be in the airplane, in the hangar, or in a virtual 3D world. The result is a 21st century teaching machine that pulls you in and makes you a part of the experience. Now, one question that I frequently get is, what's the best way to save money during flight training? The answer to that is an absolute. Study at home. Before you go to a flight lesson with your flight instructor, study the ground school lesson really well. Not only will your CFI be impressed, he'll spend a lot less time trying to explain what you need to accomplish. And this means that you'll be paying him a lot less money. If you do your homework with Gold Seal, you will save cold, hard cash.
Pass your written test and your check ride with Gold Seal, the Internet's #1 ground school. Take a free test drive today and see how much fun learning to fly can be at onlinegroundschool.com.
Welcome back to PropQuiz. Let's take a look at where we left off before the break. Nick is in the lead so far with 75 points. Benjamin is behind him at 30 points, and Ryan has 5 points. But we're only halfway through the game as we transition into multiple choice questions. So let's get started straight away with round 2. Here's your first question. This Boeing fighter was the P-26. It first flew in 1932 and saw combat in early World War II. What was it known as? A, the Vulture, B, the Pea Shooter, C, the TIE Fighter, or D, the Buffalo? You have 10 seconds. FOD, we're going to start our reveal with you since you answered first. You said B, the pea shooter. You were right. There you are with 85 points now on the board. Let's go to Ryan next, who said A. It was not A. I'm sorry. And then Benjamin, what did you say? You said B, the pea shooter as well. Nobody answered TIE Fighter, thankfully. You know, Star Wars fans are not. I don't think the TIE Fighter was it. I don't think Boeing existed a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Which of the following is not one of aviation's 5 hazardous attitudes? Again, another typo I missed. A, resignation. B, disbelief. C, macho. Or D, anti-authority. Nick, again, you answered first, so we're going to start with you. You said B, disbelief. You are correct. You're now up to 95 points and very close to hearing that 100-point jingle. Benjamin, you said A. No, sir. It wasn't. But Ryan, you said disbelief as well. You are now up to 10 points. There you go. Let's move on. Based on this nav indicator, where is the aircraft in relation to the station? A, southeast, B, northwest, C, northeast, or D, southwest? All right, this could be a little bit of a tricky one. You got to pay a lot of attention. Benjamin, did you? You did. The correct answer is D, southwest. You're now up to 45 points, sir. Ryan, you said C. I'm sorry, it is not C. And lastly, Nick said D, southwest as well. There's your 100-point jingle. Nick on the board with 100 points. Benjamin with 45 and Ryan at 10. Let's continue on, guys. You're doing a good job. In 1986, German pilot Matthias Rust crossed several European borders in a Cessna 172. What was his illegal destination? A, El Dorado, B, Hogsmeade, C, Red Square, or D, Vatican City? All righty. Where did he illegally land? Benjamin, you said D, Red Square. I'm sorry, no, you said D. I can't read it. My contacts are messing up, but D was not the right answer. Let's take a look over at Nick, who also said D, Vatican City, not correct. And lastly, Ryan, you also thought Vatican City. It was not. It was Red Square. Red Square in Russia, and he was sentenced for it to 4 years in a labor camp. Not something I would want to do. Let's keep going, guys. Nobody getting this answer right, but that's perfectly okay. We've got plenty of time left. Which of the following airplanes has more than one engine? A C-210, B, a PA-28, C, a PA-23, or D, a DA-40? Bob, we're going to start with you again. You said C, the Piper PA-23, and you are correct. 110 points on the board for you. Benjamin, you said D, the Diamond DA-40. It is not.
Yep.
And lastly, Ryan, you said A. It was not A either. It was the Piper PA-23 and not the Cessna 210. Let's keep going. Nick is on the board, like we said, with 110 points. He is absolutely killing it so far, rocking and way ahead. Benjamin has 45 and Ryan has 10. This type of airspace is depicted in this gold seal image. What is it? A, Class B, B, RA, C, Tersa, or D, Class C? Ryan, we're going to start with you. You buzzed in first, and you said D, Class C airspace, and you are right. You're now up to 20 points. Next, let's take a look over at Nick, who said D, Class C as well. Now up to 115 points. And lastly, Benjamin, you said B, and I'm afraid it was not. Oh, sir.
Yeah, I've been using ForeFlight too much with its magenta and all those beautifully defined colors.
I know. I love ForeFlight, but I sometimes worry if I'm a little too dependent on it, but man, I love that thing. Which of the following is a characteristic of unstable air? A, calm air, B, cumuliform clouds, C, stratiform clouds, or D, poor visibility? Benjamin, we're going to start with you, sir. You said B, cumuliform clouds. You're now up to 55 points. Now let's take a look over at Nick, who answered second. He said B, cumuliform as well. Now up to 120 points. You can't get 24 points in this game, but he's way ahead. And then Ryan said B, cumuliform as well. Looking at our scoreboard now, since that's one of the first questions, if not the first one in this round that everybody has gotten right, Nick is still way out there with 120 points, Benjamin with 55, and Ryan with 25. Who was responsible for the first aircraft launched from a U.S. Navy ship? A, Tony Curtis, B, Glenn Fry, C, Glenn Curtis, or D, Curtis Mayfield? Ryan, we're going to start with you again. You said C, Glenn Curtis. That is the correct answer. You're now up to 35 points. Now Benjamin is up to where? He said C, which brings him up to 60. And Nick, what did you say? You said Glenn Curtis as well. It was in 1910, the USS Birmingham, and it couldn't land back on the ship. It had to land over, well, on land. And for anybody at home who thought it was Glenn Fry, no, he was in the band The Eagles. And also in sad band news today, Eddie Van Halen died today. Russ is flying this Cessna in a level 60-degree banked turn. How many G's is he feeling? A, 3, B, 1.414, C, 3.141, or D, 2? Alrighty, before we reveal real quick, when I said Eddie Van Halen, did any of you know who I was actually talking about? Please tell me one of you knew who Eddie Van Halen was.
Oh, of course.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, cool, all right. Now, I asked because I had to explain to my sister what a VHS tape was, and I know some people who don't know what a dial tone is, so sometimes I feel old. Ryan, you said D. Are you correct? You are with 2 G's. He's feeling 2 G's in this turn. Benjamin, you also knew that. You chimed in 2. That is the correct answer. And Nick also didn't fall for the trap of answering pi. He said 2, not 3.14. All right, guys, we're halfway through this round so far. You guys better start giving Nick a run for his money because, quite literally run for the money since this is a cash prize. Which term most correctly describes the engine in a Pilatus PC-12? A, a turbofan, B, a turbine, C, turbocharged, or D, a turboprop? Benjamin, what do you think describes the engine in a PC-12? You thought it was D, a turboprop, and you are correct. Next, we're going to go over and look at Ryan, who also knew that it is a turboprop. You said D as well. But Nick, no, you didn't know. You said C, it's a turboprop. Most correctly describes the engine in a Pilatus PC-12, which is one of my favorite planes. Just in my personal opinion. In the Apollo program, 8 NASA crews went to the moon. Which astronaut made the trip more than once? A, David Berkowitz, B, John Young, C, Jose Jimenez, or D, Neil Armstrong? All righty, let's take a look. I believe Ryan answered first, and he said D, Neil Armstrong.
Bummer.
Nope. He was the first person to set foot on the moon, but he did not go more than once. Nick, you said B, John Young. You are right, and I'm glad you're right, because I was going to make fun of you and make you retake your CAP aerospace exams if you got it wrong. And then Benjamin, you said D as well. I'm sorry, it was not. It was John Young. At least none of you said David Berkowitz. He was the serial killer known as the Son of Sam, who killed because he thought his dog told him to. So definitely not David Berkowitz. Let's continue on, guys. We've only got a couple of questions left. Under Part 107 of the Federal Aviation Regulations, a certificated person is known as what? A drone operator, B, a UAV pilot, C, a remote pilot, or D, a drone pilot? Alrighty. What is a certificated person known as under Part 107? Benjamin, you said C, remote pilot. You are correct. You are now up to 85 points. FOD, you said C, remote pilot as well. The correct answer. And Ryan, you said B. It was not B. I am sorry. You are now at 50 points. Benjamin is up to 85. Nick is at 140. And we're coming to a close very, very rapidly here. What was Charles Lindbergh's first paying job as a pilot? A, crop dusting, B, Army Air Corps pilot, C, barnstorming, or D, airmail pilot? Alrighty, what was Charles Lindbergh's first paying job as a pilot? Benjamin, you said D. It is not airmail. No. Next, we take a look at Ryan, who said D as well. Also not the right answer. Although, to be honest, that's what I thought it was too. But Nick, you also thought that like me, and all four of us are wrong. It was C, barnstorming. Barnstorming was his first paying job as a pilot. All right, guys, we've got 2 questions left. In what city is the FAA's headquarters located? A, Kansas City, Missouri, B, Dayton, Ohio, C, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, or D, Washington, D.C.? In what city is the FAA headquarters located? Nick, you said C. No, it is not. Not Oklahoma City. Let's try Ryan. You said D, Washington, D.C. That is the correct answer. They do have an office in Oklahoma City, but their headquarters is in Washington, D.C. And Benjamin, you said B. It was not Dayton, Ohio. It is absolutely Washington, D.C., where the headquarters of a whole bunch of the government, of course, is located. Well, guys, this is it. Here is your final question of tonight's episode of Prop Quiz. Which of these V-speeds will not be shown on your airspeed indicator? A, VA, B, VSO, C, VFE, or D, VNO? All right, FOD, we're going to start with you in our final reveal of this episode. You said A, VA. That is correct. You're not going to see that on your airspeed indicator. What does VA stand for, Nick? Go ahead and tell us.
That's maneuvering speed.
Maneuvering speed. There you go. Ryan, you said A as well, VA. It's also the correct answer, bringing you up to 60 points. And lastly, Benjamin, you said A, VA as well, clearing the board in our final question of this episode tonight, meaning that with 150 points, Nick FOD Tupper, you are the winner of tonight's episode of Prop Quiz. You're going to be going home with a $500 cash prize. Congratulations, man.
Thank you so much.
How do you feel? You going to Disney World? I guess you can't right now, can you?
Yeah, no, I feel amazing. Really, really happy to have been a part of this. I don't get a chance to talk about aviation like this very often, so glad to be involved.
Well, that's good. That's why we love doing this. We're all here because we love aviation. And Benjamin, at 90 points, you're in second place. That means you're going home with our $200 cash prize. So congratulations to you as well.
Thank you very much.
Good. All righty.
Well,
Good. And Ryan, how do you feel? You still got up to 60 points. You did come in third place, but you did a pretty good job overall. These were tough questions tonight. How do you feel?
I'm disappointed, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. Definitely, it definitely was very cool.
Well, that's good. The whole point of this is always to have fun. Well, gentlemen, that is our time for tonight. Remember that next week is our season finale where Nick will return to try and make his $500 an even 1,000. I'm Ethan Berg. I'll see you back here next week on PropQuiz. Good night.